Welcome to the 386 presentation for business continuity and compliance. Our group consists of 5 members: Adam, David, Kenny, Sagar and Mohammed. So initially we all looked at different areas for businesses we could conduct the research in. With some of the group members looking at big organisations such as BlackBerry and Microsoft, while some others looked at the smaller types of local businesses. I personally carried out an apprenticeship with Bhayat computer shop, and I felt this would be a good idea for the business to choose to have participate in our assignment. After weighing up the disadvantages and the advantages with the group about the smaller businesses like the computer shop and the bigger businesses BlackBerry and Microsoft, we came to the decision to choose the Bhayat computer shop. The reason for this choice was because the bigger organisations, they'd already had lots of business continuity planning put in place, and it was difficult to get the relevant data that we needed for this assignment. So we would have had to make many assumptions which we wouldn't have been able to provide an accurate representation of the business. So Bhayat computer shop, the business we've chosen, we're an established IT retail support industry. As you can see from the diagram, there are many different areas to the supply chain, all performing key roles in delivering appropriate products and services to the end user. Entities surrounding the law must be considered like the governments, HMRC, who oversee laws such as data protection, trading standards, health and safety, plus others, as well as making sure contributions are made to the economy in terms of VAT and tax, making sure all the records are correct, so accountants and stuff like that. Businesses in this industry supply new products and services to their clientele. Example of these support and retail businesses that provide these are PC World and Bhayat computer shop. In this industry there are 2 primary consumers, the general public and then you've got other businesses. These businesses are then connected to a multitude of supplier entities to obtain relevant products and services that can pass on to their customers, like new hardware and software, as well as external support. Moreover, with businesses themselves, they also use other services from businesses such as remote support, software, web hosting, internet and telephone. The business where they get the utilities and services from are vital when it comes to business continuity, because combining all these different services, that's how you're going to deliver your end product to your customer. We'll see more about this later on. The logistics entities are important for the businesses, as most businesses in this sector offer off-site visits to the home or business. Therefore, entities such as leasing companies must be considered for business continuity for the transport getting to and from. Also logistics companies in terms of delivering products like UPS and Royal Mail. The workforce is a multitude of entities in the industry that specialise in certain areas. For example, you have marketing, engineers, human resources. Businesses may also outsource some of their workforce to other companies to provide a more knowledgeable service for the customer support about specific products. Outsourcing some business processes can be a great way to increase business continuity in many situations. Financial entities are also included in the supply chain, as they allow the transfer of value around the supply chain. So you've got all these different businesses, but you need the financial system to deliver the value, so you can buy new stock, pay suppliers and everything like that. And also you're going to need it for making sure that you can contribute to the economy in terms of paying the correct taxes, through managing your account records, through accountants and all that sort of stuff. Bhayat computer shop were established in 1993 and they're a small family business from Birmingham. They offer a range of services, but their primary income is through the support packages. The shop support packages, they do it to all the general public and businesses, but they think there's probably about a 50-50 split between the revenue from both. Now for yearly support packages, which I'll explain later on, and within the shop they actually sell like peripherals, things like ink cartridges, keyboards, mice, but they also offer new desktop solutions, so you can get a whole system. The support packages that they provide are charged annually for the general public, and prices start from £90 and up to £220, depending on the level of support you require. For the £220 package, you're going to get workshop repairs, remote support, on-site support, annual check to make sure everything's fine, training on your devices, loyalty discounts when you come to buy things like ink cartridges and peripherals, security bundles to make sure you're safe online, and also backup solutions. On the other side of things, businesses that receive the support packages, they will be charged a unique fee depending on the infrastructure that they've got, because they may have like 2 computers that need attention, but they may have like 20 depending on what they're actually doing. For the more systems, you'll be charged more. Most of the sales are done either over the phone, via credit card, or in cash when the customers come into the shop. The business customers pay more for the support packages, but it's difficult to get new businesses on board. Therefore, the regular customers are easier to turn over and acquire new business. The shop estimates to have around 500 active customers on a yearly basis. The daily interaction with customers can vary, but for example, around Christmas time, they're likely to have more sales as people are more likely to buy computers around that time.
Business continuity means exactly what it says. It's about keeping the company organization running even in the event of a major disruption. It involves identifying the key products of the organization, as well as the events that make them function. After that, an analysis is done in order to devise the best plan or strategy in order for the company to recover in the event of a disruption to its normal services. Some of the benefits of business continuity helps to build customers' confidence. When the customer has confidence in your company, that your company has a plan for in the event of any problems, they'll be ready to associate with you. If we look back a couple of years ago with the incident of BlackBerry, when their loyal customers realized they had no exact plan in place, they lost a lot of customers because the customers were not confident in the company. The second benefit is building confidence within the organization. When your workers know their job is safe, as well as they have like a long-time plan with your company, the more efforts we put into growing up the company. The third benefit is keeping the business alive and also maintaining the delivery of services. No company wants an end or bankruptcy to affect its company, so obviously every time when there's a plan in place in case of any service disruption, the company can recover quickly. One major problem in this cycle is business impact analysis. The analysis is used to point out the key products and services that the organization most depends on, as well as the activities used to carry them out. It is a key part of the business continuity management. There are 4 major steps when conducting business impact analysis. The first one is listing the products and services that, when disrupted, will have the biggest impact to the company. The second one is how long can the company manage before there's a disruption to your company. So how long can when those services are not in time, how long will it take for the company to survive? Usually this is called the MTPD, also known as maximum tolerable period. This is usually before it becomes an issue that can affect the company, either financial health or even the reputation of the brand of your company. The second step is how long will the service need before it returns to normal life. Usually this is also called the RTO, which is recovery time objective. Before you find out the recovery time objective, you have to take into account the MTPD. Also, when reviewing your business continuity management strategy, you can use this as a benchmark in case you were a bit too confident with the time you set for the period. The next step you have to take when ensuring your recovery time objective is also there should be a margin of error for the recovery time objective. Don't give a bit of a leeway in case of any unforeseen circumstances in that period. Then the last step is also you have to also view the events that are needed to carry out these major products and services. Lastly, we define risk. Risk is very important in business continuity. Risk is defined as a possibility of negative incident occurring which could damage the company's reputation. We'll be discussing more about risk and how it relates to this company later in this presentation. Risk is usually measured in terms of degree of impact, which are low, medium, and high, with certain risks taken more seriously than others, depending on your company's objectives. A disaster defined by the UN is a serious disruption to the normal life of a society or community. Usually there are two types of disasters, natural and man-made. Natural, obviously, hurricane, tornadoes, earthquakes, and man-made, usually terrorist attacks, or in this case, related to a company, probably a major disruption to their network environments. Disaster management, however, is defined as the creation of those plans which are put in place in order to help the company or the environment recover in the event of a disaster. Disaster usually is defined as an event or situation that has already happened, compared to emergencies, which are ongoing events. Up on the slide, you have the disaster management life cycle. The first part is preparedness. This refers to how the activities prior to the disaster, so what plans you have in place in case the disaster happens. Then after that, usually it's the impact of the disaster. And the next part is response. So the plans in place you have once disaster has struck, usually the first 2-3 things you do once disaster, probably warning systems, alerts that something terrible has gone wrong. The third one is recovery. So these are the activities done in order to recover from this disaster and return back to normal services, as you can say. And last but not least is mitigation. Usually this reduces the effects of future disasters by taking this disaster as a benchmark and preparing the company in case of anything else. And it's a cycle, because after mitigation, you put place in preparedness and then again, impact of disasters. Next up is crisis management. Crisis management in a business context is anything that can negatively affect the company's processes or reputation. In other words, it's usually an event that leads to disaster. Usually crisis is something that's ongoing before it's an emergency, then disaster. People usually have these three words mixed up. However, a crisis, as I said, is an imminent event which can cause harm to the company. An example is to differentiate between everything is usually a hurricane. Once there's a hurricane warning come out, that's usually a crisis. And by the time the hurricane hits the land, it's an emergency while it's ongoing, and when it's passed, it's regarded as a disaster. In relation to business continuity and disaster management, as well as crisis management, compliance is really important to the company. This is defined in business continuity as those policies set that the company should fully adhere to when they are being introduced. Thank you.
Business continuity would be vital for the Bodmere computer shop for a number of reasons. The key one being survival. The amount of factors that can ruin your business are endless, therefore having a plan in place will ensure that the company can cope with any disaster that comes its way. Another reason why business continuity will benefit the company is the plan will analyse the business thoroughly to decide on the key components of the business. For example, identifying particular products that are selling well and the ones that are not essential. The analysis will reveal non-critical elements of the business which can help cut down costs immensely. Customers will also prefer companies that have business continuity plans, as it shows the company cares about the services and products offered to them. It shows commitment, and customers can be confident in the service offered. The effect of this is that it increases the market. The effect of this is an increase in market share, giving you a company that edge on competitors who do not have business continuity plans in place. Business continuity would ensure that the company is in the best possible situation should an incident occur. For example, the previous incident with the fire hindered the performance of the company. Having a business continuity plan in place would ensure that the performance is still of a high standard whilst dealing with the issue of the fire. Overall, business continuity will allow the company to feel at ease knowing that the business continuity plan is in place should something occur. An example where a company that did not make use of business continuity and failed for it are BlackBerry. BlackBerry went from being top of the smartphone market to the bottom. From September 2014, the company says it will cut 4,500 jobs, or 40% of the workforce, with a looming loss of 1 billion due largely to a weak response to its new devices. This graph shows how BlackBerry have performed since the release of the iPhone. Once later versions of the iPhone released, revenue dropped to less than $1 billion. One of the key errors the company made was writing off the Apple iPhone. The former CEOs of BlackBerry said that due to its poor battery life and the fact that it had no physical QWERTY keyboard, that it would fail. the company simply failed to adapt to the changes in the market. Another mistake made was wasting resources on the BlackBerry Playbook tablet, which is deemed to be one of the biggest technology failures in recent times. It was introduced to rival the iPad, and all focus went on this instead of smartphones, which were responsible for 80% of their sales. To conclude, not having a business continuity plan is far too risky for any business. Being prepared for the worst is what makes the best companies succeed, as they take actions quickly and efficiently to lessen the impact of the issues at hand. Therefore, the Boldmere Computer Shop should ensure that they have business continuity plan in place.
The first risk is fire in the building. All the products might be damaged and customers may get injured. It will slow down business day-to-day operations. The second risk is data loss. Losing data such as receipts and invoices can cause problems with government in terms of tax, as there are no records of it. Depending on how much data is lost, it can cost the company a significant amount of money, and also in the process lose customers. The third risk is internal telephone connection loss. The inability to communicate with other staff, customers and suppliers could cause significant damage to the business's reputation, income, and can ultimately lead to loss of customers. Furthermore, it affects the staff in the business directly, because if they were in the middle of a serious project for a deadline, they would not be able to complete that project. The fourth risk is staff illnesses. The day-to-day business operation will be a slower process than normal. The fifth risk is weather conditions. Depending on how harsh the weather conditions are, the normal business operation for that day may be slowed down or may need to be suspended because the weather conditions may not be conducive for working, or members of staff may not be able to get to work. The sixth risk would be low customer storage. Important information will not be stored in the main build in hard drives or external. Cloud storage can become oversubscribed and data may not be backed up. Seventh risk is server problems. Any information taken from an unknown customer, for instance cash, personal data, this will not be stored in the cloud. Eighth risk is product damage. The company will have to give the damaged products back to the distributor. They will have a low on stock and will delay the process. Customers will have to wait a bit longer. They may not wish to wait for this long and would cancel the ordering. Ninth problem is hacking problem. All private and personal information will be leaked. This is very bad for the users, as they will lose their trust of the business. Now all or new customers will buy any products from them. It will lead to a bad publicity. The business might end up closing down. 10th risk would be power cut. If there is a power cut in the business, then the whole system can go down. The business cannot do anything, but they will have to wait when power is back up. The software that the business uses, for instance, the operating system, they uses Microsoft Windows 7 for workstations and Windows Server 2008. Autotask, which it will help to improve, sell or deliver technology solutions. With the tools provided in this software, users can organize, automate and optimize their IT business. Outlook, an online email software which allows staff in the business can send and receive free emails across each other, such as they can email customers, businesses and suppliers in the cloud. Remote support application, the business users can be supported through their engineers that are working from home with the use of remote support application. You said antivirus. It protects the business's computer and laptops and the internet from viruses. Rhino Backup helps to back up and keep important documents protected on the cloud. Malware Bytes and other malware virus removal tools help to protect, identify and remove malware and viruses from the computer and laptop. Data recovery is a software that will help to recover any file that has been deleted on the computer or laptop or on the server. Database, some of the business data is stored in the cloud on Autotask, which is backed up by Autotask solutions. The hardware that the business uses are desktops and laptops. External phones outside is used for emergency reasons. Point of sale systems, the company would use this to store each item details such as price and VAT on the system. It will display the details of that item on the screen once they're scanned or are looking for it on the system. Printers and scanners, staffs can either print, scan out any paperwork, receipts and documents out in color or black and white. They can also scan any documents and send them to themselves or send them to other businesses. Network attached storage, a hard drive is connected to the network, which means that staff can access something.
In a scenario where the business experiences loss of data, it would be advisable that they keep and back up all of the data regularly to the cloud. Virtual Standby, a recovery and backup application, can help with this and can get the business's critical machines back up and running in case of a disaster occurs. And also employees should be able to remotely access all the data they require. Accidents happen all the time and sometimes can lead to product damage. When this happens, depending to the extent of the damage, an on-site engineer can repair it quickly. Otherwise, if the products are damaged beyond repair, it's important that both men ensure that all properties are insured so the insurance company can take care of any damages. Fire incidents should not be taken lightly. Fire incidents should not be taken lightly. The first thing to do if it were to occur is to ensure that all employees have evacuated the building and are safe. In preparation for fire outbreak, that business should have smoke detectors in every room of the building, fire extinguishers, and also conduct regular fire drills. In terms of recovery, the company should be able to move to a temporary recovery site to continue their daily business operations so that they do not face the consequences of slowing down. The loss of WAN connectivity, the loss of WAN connectivity can have serious consequences for an organization's daily business activities, and that can happen at any time. Emails, financial transactions, order placements and processing are just few of the critical operations affected if the connectivity is lost. These activities can be severely slowed or halted altogether until data lines can be recovered. Thus, having a functioning WAN system and working telephone lines is critical for productive business operations and should be an integral part of any disaster recovery plan.
As a group, we've come to the conclusion that it's vital for Bhayat Computer Shop to implement business continuity, because if there's such a major incident to arise, such as anything like a fire or something like that, then because it's such a small business, it's going to be hard to, if they've got no plans in place, it's going to be hard to capture what the customer actually wants, how you're delivering that to the customer. And if you've got a service that's gone down over here and then one goes down over there, if you haven't planned for it in the first place, it's just going to be everyone rushing around and you're going to have no actual plan as to what to do. So first you need to identify your risks, then you need to analyse these risks and then work towards mitigating them. And then you can even put these plans and strategies into place by testing, and then it's just a continuous cycle. Because Bhayat Computer Shop, they provide the service through using a lot of digital infrastructure, using things like Autotask to store all their data. They need to put plans into place to make sure that when the customer requires something and they've got an incident, they can still deliver that service to the customer. Thank you.